The sky over a city can change in seconds. One moment it is filled with the ordinary sounds of traffic, distant conversations, and the rhythm of daily life. The next moment it is filled with the roar of aircraft, the echo of explosions, and the terrifying silence that follows. Across the world tonight, millions of people are watching the same headlines, asking the same question: what happens when tensions finally reach the breaking point? And more importantly, who pays the price when the fire begins to spread? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we are looking at a story that has sent shockwaves across the world. Reports of escalating military readiness, strategic aircraft placed on full combat alert, and a region already under immense pressure now standing on the edge of something even more dangerous. The phrase "Tehran burns" is not just a dramatic headline. For many people, it represents the terrifying possibility that a conflict could spiral into something far larger, far more destructive, and far more human in its consequences. When military forces such as large transport aircraft are placed on full combat alert, it signals that governments are preparing for rapid action. Aircraft like the massive C-17 transport planes are not just machines of war. They carry troops, humanitarian supplies, evacuation teams, medical units, and sometimes desperate civilians fleeing danger. When these aircraft move into position, it means that leaders believe events could unfold very quickly. But beyond the strategy, beyond the military language, beyond the maps and political debates, there is a far more important story. And that story is about people. In cities like Tehran, millions of families wake up every morning with the same hopes that families everywhere share. Parents prepare their children for school, workers rush to their jobs, shopkeepers open their doors. Children laugh, play, and dream about their future. None of them wake up expecting that their city could suddenly become a symbol of conflict. War does not arrive politely. It does not announce itself with clarity or compassion. It arrives suddenly, violently, and often without warning. Sirens begin to sound, the power goes out, the internet becomes unreliable, rumors spread faster than facts. And in the middle of it all are ordinary people who never asked to be part of a geopolitical struggle. Imagine a mother holding her child in a dark apartment while distant explosions shake the windows. Imagine a father trying to reassure his family that everything will be okay, even though he himself is not sure what tomorrow will bring. Imagine children asking questions that no parent ever wants to answer. Why is this happening? Are we safe? Will our home still be here tomorrow? These are the human moments that rarely appear in headlines. Military aircraft on alert, including massive cargo planes capable of crossing continents, are often part of contingency planning. They can deploy aid workers, evacuate diplomats, move equipment, or respond to emergencies. In times of crisis, they become lifelines. But their presence also reminds the world how fragile stability can be. For the people living in the shadow of potential conflict, every hour becomes uncertain. Grocery stores begin to empty, fuel stations develop long lines, families begin making difficult decisions about whether to stay or leave. Some pack bags, some hide important documents, some simply pray that the situation will calm before anything irreversible happens. And the most vulnerable in these moments are always the same: children. Children do not understand military strategy or political disputes. They do not know the history of rivalries or the details of international negotiations. All they know is fear when they hear explosions, confusion when they see their parents worried, and sadness when their normal lives suddenly disappear. Schools close, playgrounds fall silent, birthday parties are canceled. The simple routines that help children feel safe are replaced by uncertainty and anxiety. Psychologists who work in war zones often say that the invisible wounds children carry can last far longer than the physical destruction around them. The humanitarian consequences of war extend far beyond the battlefield. Hospitals become overwhelmed. Doctors and nurses work around the clock with limited supplies, Electricity outages can threaten life, saving equipment. Ambulances struggle to navigate damaged roads. Food supply chains can collapse within days. When transportation routes are disrupted, markets begin to run out of essential items. Families that were once stable suddenly find themselves struggling to obtain basic necessities like bread, water, and medicine. Then there are the people who must leave everything behind. Displacement is one of the most heartbreaking realities of modern conflict. Families gather what little they can carry and begin long journeys toward uncertain safety. Sometimes they travel by car, sometimes on foot, sometimes crowded into buses heading toward unfamiliar borders. In these moments, identity shrinks down to a few belongings in a bag. Photos of loved ones, important papers, maybe a favorite toy for a frightened child. Everything else, the home they built, the memories in every room may be left behind. And while military planners focus on strategy, logistics, and objectives, humanitarian organizations begin preparing for the aftermath. Relief workers coordinate shelters, doctors prepare mobile clinics, volunteers gather blankets, food, and medical supplies. Large transport aircraft can play a crucial role in these moments. They carry emergency aid across continents. They deliver field hospitals. They evacuate the wounded. They bring hope to people who feel forgotten by the world. But even the most advanced aircraft cannot undo the emotional damage caused by war. Trauma does not disappear when the fighting stops. Children who grow up hearing explosions often carry those memories into adulthood. Families separated during chaos may spend years searching for each other. Communities that once thrived together must rebuild trust and stability from the ground up. The tragedy of war is not measured only in destroyed buildings. It is measured in interrupted lives. Across the world, people watching these developments are feeling a mixture of fear, concern, and helplessness. They see dramatic images on television and social media. They hear statements from political leaders. But they also understand that behind every headline are millions of human stories unfolding in real time. And in moments like these, one truth becomes painfully clear. Civilians always carry the heaviest burden. They are the ones who lose homes, livelihoods, and security. They are the ones who must rebuild cities after the smoke clears. They are the ones who teach their children how to find hope again in a world that suddenly feels unpredictable. This is why conversations about conflict must always include the humanitarian perspective. It is easy to discuss military capabilities, strategic advantages, and geopolitical interests. But it is far more difficult to confront the human cost that follows. Every decision made in distant government buildings eventually echoes through the streets of real cities where real people live. And those echoes can last for generations. For children especially, the experience of war can shape how they see the world forever. Some will grow up remembering nights spent in shelters. Others will remember leaving their homes without knowing if they would ever return. Some will remember the kindness of strangers who offered help during their darkest moments. These memories become part of their identity. Yet even in the darkest moments of conflict, humanity often reveals its most powerful qualities. Doctors refuse to abandon patients. Teachers continue lessons in underground shelters. Neighbors share food with families who have lost everything. Acts of compassion appear in the middle of chaos. History has shown again and again that ordinary people possess extraordinary resilience. Cities that once burned have been rebuilt. Communities that were torn apart have slowly found ways to heal. Children who survived unimaginable hardship have grown into leaders, artists, doctors, and advocates for peace. Hope can survive even the most difficult circumstances, but hope should never depend on destruction to prove its strength. The world has witnessed too many wars, too many displaced families, and too many childhoods interrupted by violence. Every new crisis reminds us of the urgent need for diplomacy, dialogue, and solutions that protect human life above all else. Because when the headlines fade and the cameras move on, the people who live in those cities must continue living with the consequences. They must rebuild their homes, they must rebuild their communities, and most importantly, they must help their children believe that the future can still be brighter than the past. So, as we follow the news and try to understand what may happen next, it is important to remember that this story is not only about aircraft, military readiness, or geopolitical tension. It is about humanity. It is about the millions of innocent people whose lives can change in a single night. It is about the parents trying to protect their children from fear. It is about the children who deserve to grow up hearing laughter instead of sirens. And it is about the responsibility the world shares to seek paths that prevent suffering before it begins. Because, in the end, every city on Earth is someone's home, every child deserves safety, and every conflict avoided is a future protected.